What are COGS, also known as cost of goods sold, or also known as direct cost? I'll give you a simple example to help you understand it. When someone buys something from your company, they receive something. Whatever is in that product that the customer actually receives is a cost of goods sold. If they don't actually receive it, but your company pays for it, that's typically not a cost of goods. Here's an example. Let's say you sell lemonade. The customer gives you $1, they get a cup of lemonade. What is in that cup that they get is a cost of goods. So there's lemons in the cup, that's a cost of goods sold. There's sugar in the cup, that's a cost of goods sold. The actual cup you're giving them, that's a cost of goods. Those that the customer actually gets, plus the amount of money you had to spend to make that lemonade, because you can't make that lemonade that they're getting unless you pay that. So whatever product they're getting that you're actually transferring to them, and whatever materials that they're receiving that you transfer to them, is a cost of goods and the labor. So everything else that you had to pay to keep your business running, let's say if you never sell anything, so if you never sell a lemonade, you're never gonna have to pay for the lemons, you're never gonna have to pay for the sugar, but you have to pay for those costs regardless if you sell anything, like for example, rent, people answering the phones but they don't make the product, that's overhead. So there are two things that you need to include in your price to make sure that you're covering. One is your cost of goods sold, and you want the cost of goods to be no more than 40% of the price you give the customer. So if your lemonade is $1, you don't want to spend more than 40 cents on the lemons, the sugar, the cup, and the labor that it takes to make it. So for the dollar example, 40 cents is the cost of goods sold, which leaves you 60 cents. However, that's not everything you have to pay for. When you subtract the 40 cents, which is what it costs you to make the lemonade, when it leaves you 60 cents, that's your gross profit. That's what that term is. How much money you make after you pay for your cost of goods sold. Once you take your overhead out of that, because remember, you have other costs outside of just making the lemonade, your office rent, your insurance, all of that. You want to keep that typically under 30% of the cost you give the customer. So if your lemonade is $1, you don't want to spend more than 40 cents making the lemonade, the product they actually get, and you don't want to spend more than 30 cents on overhead. If you are, your price has to be higher to keep that ratio. Once you've received that $1 and you've spent the 40 cents on the lemons, the sugar in the cup, and then the 30 cents on your insurance and all your rent, that leaves you with the remaining profit. That remaining profit is your net profit. That's actually your take-home dollars. This is why we typically take our materials, how much it costs us to make that product, and we divide by 0.4, because what that's going to do is make space. If you divide a number by 0.4, it puts that cost at 40%. So if I spend $100 on materials, ductwork, the thermostat or whatever, or let's say that all cost $500, and I take 500 and divide by 0.4, it will automatically put that cost at 40% of the final number. So that's why dividing by 0.4 is a simple way to do it. So I hope you understand now what cost of goods are. If you make lemonade, it's the lemons, it's the cup, it's the sugar. If you make shirts, it's the shirt, the ink that you put on the shirt, whatever else is on the shirt. If you do heating and air conditioning, your cost of goods is the technician's labor for that specific job, plus the ductwork, any materials for that job that specific single individual customer receives is a cost of goods. Thanks for watching.